chez mi ni de kala.
It's midterm into the current political dispensation and time for political alignments, realignments, and the forming of coalitions ahead of the next general elections. Now, part of the ongoing encounters and experiences on the political scene at this time happens to be the gale of intra-party defections, especially from the ruling party to the main opposition party. The opposition also appears to be losing its grip as the major or most formidable challenger to the ruling party, while those who have jumped boats have mostly blamed unhealthy and bitter internal wrangling for their actions. Nigerians are, however, skeptical about a trend that is not in any way new, and many are saying that the defections are fueled or motivated by selfish political interest rather than a genuine desire to serve the people. In light of these developments, Searchlight this afternoon on Oluyole 98.5 FM will be beaming on Nigeria's political midterm and gale of inter-party defections. Again, the topic for discussion is Nigeria's political midterm and gale of inter-party defections. My guest on the program today is a seasoned politician, a former member of the Federal House of Representatives on the platform of the Accord Party. He is also a former governorship candidate of the Accord Party in Oyo State and a respected public affairs analyst. Honorable Kayode Busari, welcome to Searchlight, sir.
Good afternoon, our listener at home.
All right, my name is Tola Teriba, your anchor on the program. Well, Searchlight is our regular current affairs discussion program on Thursday afternoons, where we discuss topical issues affecting our dear nation, our country, and our world. So now to business. Right, Busari, many Nigerians are of the view that inter-party defections by politicians in Nigeria are motivated majorly by selfish personal interest, and that the average Nigerian politician has no ideology. Now, how would you react to this, considering the fact that you also are a politician, and well, I don't know if you have had cause to defect from one party to another at any point in time?
Our listener at home, once again, good afternoon. I want to disagree with that view that probably we are having defection from one party to the other for personal gain. Rather, I would say it's an occurrence that normally takes place within the political landscape. You will agree with me that purpose of being in politics is to serve the people, to bring the goodies of democracy to your various constituency. And when you see people crossing from one party to the other, I want to believe that it's due to what I will feel as a strategic planning and the urge to make sure that your constituency is not lacking behind in the affair of the nation. When we move from one party to the other, when you look at what is happening now, it's not a new development. It do occur from time to time, mostly when elections are approaching. And 2027 is around the corner right now. There are about to be movement, there are about to be alliances for various political strategy. Like some part of the country might feel that they don't want to be left out of the happening in the political arena. Look at the current movement now. You will notice that we are having a lot of movement from opposition to the ruling party. You might want to ask why. And it's not far-fetched. When you look at the opposition party on ground, the main opposition party we have on ground is PDP. Other smaller parties were not really on the scene to play the active role of an opposition party. And as long as we have it, when you look at the situation where you feel your state is being left behind in the various federal allocation that is going on, and you want to ask yourself, what is the benefit of my state and the current dispensation? And that's why earlier on I said this political strategic thinking and the urge to make sure that your own part of the country is not left behind.
I say what is due to your own part of the country can be withheld on the basis of the fact that you don't belong to the ruling party.
On paper, it can be allotted to you on paper. But when it comes to reality, you might not get it. But when you are part and parcel of the ruling party, you are within the center where the things are being allotted here and there. You'll be able to ask questions.
So you are speaking from the perspective of one who has been there, who knows how these things go.
That's it.
How things run.
That's it. If you are in opposition, you might likely not benefiting enough. You might likely not benefiting enough. But when you are there, at the center, you will be able to fight for your constituency, for your region, etc. like that.
So what about the people who believed in you, who believed in your party, and who voted for you probably because you belong to that particular political party?
You have to carry them along by the time you are defecting. You don't defect just for the purpose of defecting. You have to make sure when you are defecting, your constituency member, they are defecting along with you. Otherwise, you will be grounded. You will be at the 0 point. But when you carry your people along, you'll be able to tell them the reason why you are defecting. You'll be able to convince them that you will deliver more on what they are expecting from that party. Look at the situation right from 1999. You will notice that in the 1999/2003 agreement, the entire Southwest, in a way, were edged out. When you look at the composition, the presidency, the vice president, etc., the key principal officers at the National Assembly, you will discover that we don't have any Southwesterner in that arrangement. And even let's come down to nearer something now. Let's come nearer home. From the era of Buhari, despite the fact that we belong to the same ruling party with Mr. President then, what were allotted to the Southwestern axis is nothing to write home. And that's why then people are making a lot of insinuation that the then president is being nepotistic. On daily basis, people are crying of nepotism. It's not inclusive. But despite the fact that we belong to the same party then, we were edged out. Minus the position of the speakership that we got during the Buhari regime, what other thing do we get from the Southwest axis? But this regime, as they are now, they seem to be fair in trying to respect federal character to some extent. Not to the level one we expect, but at least to some extent, they try to carry other part of Nigeria along with them.
I'm not sure Northern Nigeria would have.
Northern Nigeria will agree. Look at what is on the table now. Northern Nigerians will be able to agree. The first president is from the north. Key ministries were given to the north.
Well, they were the bigger share of the Tea Party in the past, so they might not be too happy with what is.
Well, they have to be happy for the simple fact that we have 6 geopolitical zones in this country. And you should try as much as possible to make sure that every zone have a taste of what is on the table. You have to make sure of that. And don't forget one thing, the 2023 election, when you look at the results, you will discover that you don't have a clear-cut winner. It's so extreme, it's so slim, the margin of winning that election is so slim. None of them clearly could boast of meeting the constitutional requirement, 2/3 of the state. When you look at the result, and that one make it more for the ruling party to make sure that he try as much as possible to use his influence in attracting other members of opposition. And to worsen the situation, the opposition party, the main opposition party in place, they are in disarray. Their house is not in order. They played their, like one Yoruba Adi said, tí ògiri ò bá dànù, aláàmù ní ráyè wọbẹ̀. For the fact that the party that is supposed to play that major role, they were lacking in forthcoming in playing the role. Give room for the government of the day, for the party in power, to try as much as possible to put into the other parties and lobby their members to their own side. But don't be surprised and don't listen. There's no cause for any alarm. Governors doesn't win election.
Oh.
Yes, that's my own perspective. That's my belief.
Oh.
Governors doesn't win election. It's the people that will vote. And don't be surprised, except the party in government now, between now, they still have the ample chance of reform the economic situation of the country.
Okay, a government doesn't win elections, even when it's good governance.
When it's good governance, it's a different thing. When it's good governance, it's so apparent. People will see. Then the governor can now boast that yes, I have the grip of my constituency. But when you have a situation where people are dying of hunger, don't be surprised. It could be masses against the ruling party, despite all this defection. Despite all the defection, because when you ask most of this party, the people that we are defecting now, like I said earlier on, it could be for one strategic reason or the other. It could be for the love of their constituents to make sure that their state will not edge out of what is happening. They want to be at the center and see what is going on. Otherwise, I don't see why an entire state that belong to another party entirely, an opposition party, will defect en masse. It's a rather ugly situation, and it's part of what we are witnessing now. So the opposition party now, the main opposition party now, they were not playing the role expected of them as opposition party.
So why do you think the PDP has been unable to forge a vibrant and formidable opposition and give the ruling party the necessary run, contrary to what we had when the APC was in the opposition, keeping the PDP government on its toes? They are busy fighting themselves, and like you rightly observed, it seems like the APC is all, it all appears like the APC is about swallowing up the main opposition, defection of key juggernauts, including governors and lawmakers. So, like I said, Honorable Busari, this wasn't the situation when the APC was in the opposition.
Yes.
There was a vibrant opposition. So
That's
what
it.
is wrong?
What is wrong is not far-fetched. And the run-up to 2023 election, between 2015 and 2019, we'll see what happened. And between 2019 to 2023, we witnessed a lot of things. The unfortunate thing with PDP is that it has derailed from the vision of the founding father of the party. When PDP was being founded, there are clear-cut objective, agreement, policies they want to execute. But along the line, their success got into the head of some of the members. PDP as a party started to misbehave. To worsen the situation, they completely derailed from the Sony arrangements that brought the party into the existence in the first instance. And the run-up to 2023 election, every Nigeria had assumed that all things being equal, the PDP should be able to form the party, the PDP should be able to win the election. But they shot themselves in the leg by allowing key of their member to defect, to romance with other party. They forgot the Sony formula of the founding father. You can't expect a northerner to rule for good 8 years, and for PDP now to come around in 2023 and say they are feeding another northerner to come and contest presidency. It's wrong. When you, if you look at what happened, the campaign manager for PDP, remember, was from the north. The presidential candidate for the PDP in that election, they supposed to win, is from the north. The party chairman of the PDP then was from the north. They've modernized, they've succeeded in modernizing PDP as a party there.
That's why I used that led to the emergence of the G5.
That led to the emergence of G5. And look at the mistake they're making again now in this coalition of 18 they are trying to form. You see Rufai, you see Tambua, you see Atiku Abubakar. If they forge ahead that way, you can be sure they are repeating the same old song that led to failure of 2023 election. They are on that part now. So PDP, those that stay behind to make sure PDP as a party doesn't go into a situation like that, those that air the ground, that air the party family to make sure that PDP as a party doesn't go into extinction. They were all sidetracked. And up till now, those that hijack PDP from those people that aired it, they were still unable to rebuild that party. I think what we have to be patient a little bit. I foresee a situation that PDP will rise again as a party. After all this mass defection, let the defection continue to happen. Then there will be a stop to it at a point. Then the PDP as a party will be able to pick up. Because it's only the party that is bigger enough, that's strong enough, that could still muster enough pursue to confront APC. But see them now, they are in disarray. They are not able to hold themselves together as a party. And that has been a win for defection almost on daily basis.
But talking about this mass defection, the PDP seems to be blaming everyone but itself. Talking about the PDP leadership now. For instance, President Goodluck Jonathan, former President Goodluck Jonathan, this morning in the dailies it was there, and they said that he accused the APC government of orchestrating a deliberate plot to shift Nigeria towards a one-party state. And I don't know how much.
You see,
I mean, what do you think of him?
President Jonathan shouldn't raise unnecessary alarm. As far as I could understand Nigerian situation, Nigeria political landscape, we can never have a one-party state. We can never have a one-party state. What President Jonathan tolerated as a president is what President Tinubu is guiding against. President Jonathan allowed PDP as a party to disintegrate under his nose, under his watch. He was the president when they are forming new PDP. He couldn't be able to do anything. He couldn't be able to stop that movement then, which is unfortunate. You won't expect a seasoned politician like President Tinubu to stand by and be watching APC to disintegrate under his leadership. That one will occur. If President Jonathan was able to accommodate that, he shouldn't raise the necessary alarm and be worried that the present administration is not allowing that. A good politician will not allow that. I even know that 2027 is around the corner, and you see the opposition party in disarray, then you should be able to capitalize on that disarrangement. You should be able to capitalize on that disunity and make sure you build your own party to be in a comfort zone to win the 2027 election. But like I said earlier on, that government doesn't win party, it's the masses that will vote. And mind you can only rig an election where you are popular. In the present situation where people are dying of hunger, you can't just rig an election. The people will stand by their vote. You will count their vote in their presence. But provided the opposition can still find a space, it's going to be an easy run for APC as a party if care is not taken.
Now, I'm talking about the people determining the course of elections and where the pendulum will swing.
Yes.
Is it always the case that a political stakeholder who was a juggernaut in a political party will still prove to be the same juggernaut should he decide to pitch his tent with another party? In short, would an elephant in Iwo still prove to be the same elephant should he decide to leave Iwo for a saying?
That analogy might not work.
Okay.
When the chiefs are down. Because
there's still a party.
Like I did mention the other time, probably after this mass defection, if the ruling party lost itself, they have to do one thing. They have to address the economic situation on ground. They have to find means of letting Nigeria live. They have to find means of letting Nigeria build. Otherwise, as a juggernaut, your juggernaut is have a limit. You can't continue to funding people from your own purse. At a stage, you get tired. At a stage, when you see the population of the hungry and angry men so overwhelmed, they can overwhelm you. You can be overwhelmed. As a juggernaut, you can be overwhelmed.
So why are they leaving their party for a ruling party that appears to be inflicting hardship on the populace?
Because they could see a ray of hope.
Oh.
They could see a ray of hope in that ruling party. That's why I say that in the next couple of months, the ruling party have to sit down and actually let the level of economic hardship be reduced.
So the defections would have been worth the while.
That's it. Because they could see of hope, they could see a ray of hope where they are going. When you belong to an opposition party, where you feel you want to build, and at the same time they are not being together, the cohesiveness is zero, then what are you waiting for in such a party? And your own people are not getting what they voted you for. They are not getting it from your party. look at the southwestern nurses. Despite the fact that, look at Oyo State, for instance. Do you hear people defecting from Oyo State? You wouldn't hear that. People are not defecting from Oyo State. Rather, if you have any grievances in Oyo State, it's within the party. Intra, not inter. If there's any disharmony, it's within APC, it's within PDP. But you won't see people defecting from here to the ruling party, because why are they going to defect? What has Oyo State benefited from this ruling arrangement now at the federal level? Virtually, you give us how many ministers, how many ministerial posts? And
of course,
then do we feel the impact of that slot given to Oyo State at the grassroots? Are we having the feeling of it here?
That's for the people to say.
That's why we don't see any defection here. You won't see any PDP State House of Assembly member telling you that it's going to APC today or tomorrow in Oyo State. I just use Oyo State as an example. Whereas what we are saying of Oyo State is not same with Osun State. We have seen federal legislator from Osun State defecting. Okay, he has defected from PDP to APC at that federal level.
Okay.
So if you sit him down, he will tell you why. But it's part of strategic thinking, strategic planning, the vision. As a leader, you should be able to have vision.
Okay. So, what is the impact of these mass intra-party defections? I mean, inter-party defections on governance?
You see, I'm sure after this mass exodus of defection here and there, if Mr. President have good and which I believe you should have knowledgeable advisors, they should sit down for the next 12 months and do serious economic planning. Let's deliver real dividend of democracy. Let's look at various infrastructure, how far they've gone. I was reading somewhere, was it the day before yesterday or this morning, that we've written a large chunk of our debt to IMF have been written off. So if we can let the masses feel the impact of the governance now, then it will be better for the party in power. But if it is otherwise, my brother, those defections might not hold water. Those defection exercises might not hold water, because Nigerians were hungry, and an hungry man, you see, the anger will be there. So the mass defection, after a while, it will stop. Then the opposition party should be able to pick up what is remaining and build a more free opposition party. BDP can still go back to the drawing board and rebuild. I have that belief.
Some individuals within the political structure would seem to have made nonsense of party supremacy, and they actually seem bigger than the party, such that even in the midst of gross perpetration of anti-party activity, the party leadership hierarchy is perpetually helpless. Now, take the case of the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, who has consistently worked against his own party, dared the party to remove him, and neither has he removed himself. And it's not only within the PDP fold that this is happening. So what happened to the culture of party supremacy? I recall during the Second Republic, the late Chief Meredith Adisa Akiloye, his word was law within the ruling NPN. The party was supreme. And I can't imagine anyone daring Baba at that time, and daring Baba to do his worst in the midst of anti-party activity. What do you think could be responsible for this?
It's not far. It's not. The answer is between us here and now. he who played the pipe dictate the tune, isn't it? When MPN of yesteryear was founded, it was a party among the equals. When PDP was founded, among the equals, then the party have say. Then we have supremacy of party. But in a situation, after you might have hijacked the party ticket to run an election and you lose and you run away. Oh. Only for you to come back when another election is around. Tell me, and you know a way of manipulating yourself and get the ticket again? Are we not eroding the supremacy of party like that? After PDP lost election in 2015 to APC, the likes of Atiku and Co, I'm sorry I have to mention them, those who is who within the PDP, most of them defected to APC to form an alliance to make sure they work against Jonathan. The like of Saraki, the like of Tambua, etc., etc. They work against their own party. Now, the party haven't lost the election. Those that remain there, that took care of the party then, will not turn around at another election season to try and jettison them, push them aside, and want them to continue to be loyal to the party. Party formation is not easy. Running of a party is not easy. It consumes a lot of finance. And that's why some time ago I did mention here that yesteryears, when parties were being formed, every card-carrying member have to contribute something to the running of the party. Reverse is the case now. Only 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5% are now running the party for you people. Ask any of the card-carrying member of any of the party here now. Be it PDP, be it APC, be it Labour Party. How much are you contributing to your party to maintain your party, to run your party? Rather, they are all waiting there at the grassroots, expecting largesse from the top to maintain the party. It's wrong. And the accord, when we formed the accord between 2011 and 2015, I remember vividly those of us that are contributing to make sure the party is in existence. It's a matter of we are running the party. But now you've allowed an individual or a group of individuals to be running the party. So the supremacy has been eroded greatly that way. It's where you have your money, you have your mouth there. You put your money to where you know you have a say. You won't put your money to a place where you won't have any say. It won't happen that way. That's why I say that PDP as a party have to be rejuvenated, have to be reawakened from their slumber, and group of like-minded people have to come together and see how they can surface the party. They shouldn't allow just an individual to be running the party, to be financing the party. Wike as a person has financed PDP to a reasonable extent. When the party was in disarray, it was Wike that was holding front for the party. It was Wike that all the party that doesn't allow the party to go into disintegration like that. Otherwise, probably by now, there wouldn't have been anything like PDP again. Let us wait and see what will happen to the SDP they are running to now.
The program is still Searchlight on Oluyole 98.5 FM, and the topic for discussion we're discussing the mass Nigeria midterm politics and the gale of inter-party defections. To be a part of the program this afternoon, the number to call is 080-550-9850, 070-555-1985, 070-5555-1985. 070-5555-1985. You can also reach us on 082-5500-985. Those are the numbers to call to be part of Searchlight this afternoon. Honorable Kayode Busari, now talking about the coalition and the possibility of the emergence of a third force ahead of the next general elections. You already spoke about this, but I also want to ask you, what are your thoughts on the viability of a political coalition devoid of the influence or manipulation of the two major political parties ahead of the next general elections in 2027? And people often say that well, the difference between APC and PDP is the difference between 6 and half a dozen. So I do not know this coalition now coming up now, made up of elements that are running away from both parties. So what are your thoughts?
Unfortunately, the elements that are behind the coalition, they've made the giant mistake. They've tried to form a coalition based on regional basis, and that one will not work. Yeah. Northern zone, northern region cannot on its own produce Nigerian president. Neither can southern region, southern state produce a president on their own.
Every politician wants the votes from the north, especially those that want to rule this country. They are afraid of losing the votes of northern Nigeria.
We have to be afraid of losing their votes because of the number they are holding with them. But let me tell you, as of this afternoon, none of those elements that are coaliting together to form another party can boast of what Buhari of CPC was boasting yesterday. That 12 million solid vote is no more there. It's no more there. APC has succeeded in eroding that figure. They've taken a chunk of that figure. The element of CPC that are still within the APC up to now, the element that defected away from BDP yesterday, they are still with APC up to now. And I don't foresee one thing, except that one thing can happen. If for whatever reason now, if APC allow internal wrangling among its fold, if APC can split now, then the coalition might have more weight. But I don't see APC splitting. I don't see APC disintegrating now. If APC would disintegrate at all, it will be after 2027. But pre-2027, APC will disintegrate. And for coalition to have any meaningful effect, they have to hold on, they have to rally around a bigger party. We have to give and take. Some of the key players have to bury their ambition if they want to defeat APC as a party in 2027. They will be making a big mistake if they feel that they will produce another candidate to come and face APC candidate, which is likely to be Tinubu. You can't feed any northern candidate against that man now and win the election. No, it's not feasible. Because that way, you've written it boldly that, look, you want to marginalize the southern candidate. There's a magic that can defeat Tinubu. That magic I will do to myself. It's not for this discussion. And I don't see that coalition playing along that axis. I said that coalition can play along that axis. But in the situation where the coalition movement they are forming, in the situation where they're thinking that they are producing another candidate, no, it won't work.
So the coalition seems to be much more about the interest of a particular ethnic nationality now,
which will not,
from what is currently unfolding.
Which will not produce any positive result for them. It won't take them anywhere. They are bound to fail. It's like they've already granted the coalition if they think along that line, along that axis.
Let me ask you this, Honorable Busari. You are of the Accord Party, so I'm wondering how come you have never left the party? Accord Party used to be a very formidable party here in Oyo State. You ran on that platform and you went to the House of Representatives, but somewhere along the line, this same wranglings also came into the Accord Party. A lot of your colleagues left the party, but here you are. Why are you still in the Accord Party, despite the fact that the influence of the party is not what it used to be here in Oyo State?
I believe in ideology and principle.
Exactly the point.
When you look at most of this party on ground, what are the ideological framework they put in place? And except you have that, though Accord is not doing fine presently right now, but I'm highly optimistic that before the end of next year, we are going to spring up a surprise. It's either we align with any of the parties that we feel that can form the central government, or we stay on our own. But like I mentioned earlier on, party running, party administration require a lot of funding. If you don't have a stronger financial muscle, it's not easy running a party. But as time goes on, I believe we are going to have party on ideological basis. It's still part of the learning process for Nigerian political landscape.
Are you talking about the distant or the nearest future?
The nearest future, we are getting there. You will see what will happen after the 2020 semi-election. A good number of people will now sit down. Even before 2020 semi-election, depending on the economic policy of the present administration, they are coming up with clear-cut policy now. Sometime early this week, they roll out a policy of no more importation of what we can produce in Nigeria. We are moving nearer.
They've done that before, and the results were disastrous.
But this time around, let's give it another try. Maybe with more discipline, with more focus, we can get there. I learned that the prices of food items are dropping gradually.
Yeah.
If we can sustain that, if we can find means of making sure that the teeming youth, unemployed youth, we are positively engaged, then we'll be able to sit down and have an ideological statement of where we are going. But the fear of former President Jonathan cannot materialize in Nigeria. We cannot have a one-party state. It's not possible. We won't have that. People will always talk. People will always criticize government. People will always come up with ideas of what they feel government should do.